Outside of the courts, travel, traffic, and concerns about oversight of our transit system were among the biggest stories of 2019. There was obviously that horrible crash in New Hampshire back in June, in which a Massachusetts man who should have had his license revoked hit and killed 7 motorcyclists that led to the discovery. State RMV had failed to process thousands of out-of-state driving violations over a period of 20 years, a failure the state legislature is still investigating. Then there was the June Redline derailment, which took months to fix, prompted a report in which an independent panel of transportation experts just last week recently declared safety is not the priority at the T. But even on the good days, commuters were, quote, seeing red, as the famed Globe Spotlight team dedicated an entire series to, looking at our jam-packed roads, the impact on our troubled mass transit system, and frustrated commuters. Over the summer, Mbta fare hikes only added to that frustration.
It makes everybody late, but they want to charge us more.
To charge people more for it when that system becomes increasingly unreliable, it is, as the council said, offensive.
Can we start first with the mess in transit? I want to get back to the RMV in a minute. Who should the public be angry at in this situation? And they are angry. We
for
take
the problem on the roads?
The roads, the T, the whole transportation. Who should they be angry at?
I mean, look, it's a 17th century city, right? And it's hard to fix the transportation problem in a city that was built when it was built and that it's as old as it is. So that's part of it. You're never going to be able to fully solve it.
Should part of it be directed at the governor, who is a lone holdout in terms of new money?
I think that most of the anger should be directed towards the bureaucracy.
Meaning all of it?
All of it. Not the governor per se, but the bureaucracy that runs it and fails to reform it.
Who should we be angry at?
Can I take the word anger and blame? Because I don't think that helps at all. I do believe that Governor Baker, I have complimented him on many occasions for his leadership. I believe, just like you need a war on drugs, you need a war on red lights. You need a war on traffic jams and gridlock. I believe that he needs to invest significant political capital in fixing this problem.
So what you're saying is you're angry at him and want to blame him?
I am not angry, and I'm not blaming him, but I think he's the only one who can truly convene the legislators.
Well, actually,
the legislators who can bear some of that responsibility.
But there's some people don't agree with that. There was David D'Alessandro, who was hired by DeVal Patrick, former head of John Hancock, to do an investigation. As recently as 4 years ago, he said the legislature, including you were there for a while, has been kicking the can down the road for the past 15 years of this. They can pass a tax bill.
15 years.
Well, no, you're right, actually. If they're not happy with what Governor Baker's doing, then pass a tax bill.
But I think that But I think that he has the bully pulpit of being the governor, and I believe he needs to place pressure, greater pressure on the legislature to come up with solutions and funding.
I think we should be angry, despite what Shannon says. Who should we be angry at?
Well, I actually agree with both of you in a way. And I think before we pass a tax bill, and this people may say, oh my gosh, I do think that there needs to be accountability, because this to me is there's a classic tension between safety and capital improvements and investments. I want to know where the money that we've already gotten has gone. I want to know, there's a turnover issue with the general managers. I think the average tenure is 13 months.
9 and 10 years.
I mean, so when you have issues like that, you're going to have issues with strategy, you're going to have issues with operations, you're going to have issues that our consumers are facing, the ridership is facing.
Yeah, but can't we walk and chew gum at the same time, reform and figure out what went wrong while we invest in the system?
I hope we can, but
how about
so far the
spending the
evidence
money
suggests
you
we
have
can't.
properly? I mean, the Pioneer Institute has documented it takes 96 steps to hire somebody at the MBTA. Why does it take 96 steps?
I agree with that. As a professor who teaches operations and organizational behavior, you're going to be trying to hire somebody that you needed to fill a role for 6 months ago, a year ago.
Yeah, but I have to say, I would add one person, a set of people to this mix. We talked about the governor, talked about the legislator. How about the public? Can we put up this poll? It was recently done by Mass Inc. in August. The public is complaining, I think correctly, about the gridlock on the roads, the T being a mess. They oppose virtually every single vehicle. I meant that not as a pun, for raising money. So it seems to me there's a pogo-esque aspect to this too. And I really, by the way, what really troubles me, at least on both ends, I don't know if you agree with this notion, people can't wait. Maybe we haven't done a good enough job, I don't know, of figuring out what went wrong, where the money went that maybe it shouldn't have gone, but it seems to me we can ferret that out at the same time that we fix this damn system.
You can do both. I mean, and the fact is, it is partially a money issue, but it's also a leadership issue. And again, I just believe that you need the legislators to come together, you need the governor to work closely with them, but I think that it needs to be literally a war. You've got to figure out how you improve public transportation. There are lots of smaller, low-cost fixes, and the management that you're talking about. One of the reasons that you can't keep the managers in is that they don't make as much as the people they're supervising.
Yeah, but
I know
you worked there 15 years, but just one more time. The legislature says they're finally going to do some new revenues, whatever that means, in January. But as D'Alessandro said, my apologies, you weren't there, it's been going on now for 20 years. A couple of years ago, Deval Patrick proposed a 19-cent gas tax increase. The legislature reduces it to 3 cents.
It's not about the taxes. It's about the bureaucracy. It's about the unions.
Every advocate, except every person with whom I've spoken, except the governor and Stephanie Pollack, thinks new money is needed. At the same time, the kind of reform.
Well, before we raise taxes, I would like to see them reform the bureaucracy, privatize some of it, and outsource some of it, like they do in Chicago and other cities that are much more efficient than Boston.
How about this? This may sound crazy, but one of the things that's been interesting in some places, what if the legislator had to use public transportation? What if the governor had to use public transportation in order to get to their jobs? That sounds like a crazy idea.
Like Dukakis did.
But for a finite period of time. I'm saying until these issues are fixed, because the consumers, I think what you're seeing with this survey is they want it fixed, but they don't necessarily want to be inconvenienced.
The Charlie on the Mbta solution.
Exactly. And really have them taking notes and actually experiencing it.
We still haven't gotten to the bottom of this RMV thing. Obviously, they failed to pick up this notice from Connecticut for a DUI. The guy wouldn't have been or shouldn't have been on the road. There would be 7 families who wouldn't have lost somebody. This recent report said, in terms of the T, that cost cutting has been prioritized over safety. Some in the legislature have sat here, has said that the governor's office prioritized customer service at the registry over safety there as well. Is that a fair criticism, or is that unfair based upon what we know so far about the registry mess? We only have a minute on this.
Again,
Anybody?
I think you can do 2 things at once, and as I've said before, you can prioritize customer safety and you can outsource the administrative aspect where you're bringing in these private contractors to type in the data so that this doesn't happen.
But it has happened, and I guess say so far, had things like customer service, front of the house at the registry, cost cutting, as this recent report said, had priority over ensuring safety on the roads and on the
and I talked to you about this on one of your radio programs, that this is one of the problems that we had when the Big Dig was supposed to be on time and on budget, and at the expense of safety, we moved that forward so that we could say we were on time and on budget. So I do
someone
believe
actually died there.
Someone died, but I do believe that you can do both, and I think that, again, it's a leadership issue.